Hello and welcome to race number 6 of 9 of the HARC Canada series. Today we're in Speedway 660 in Geary, New Brunswick for the only race in Atlantic Canada this season. This 1/3 of a mile bullring is fairly tight and fairly low banked, which should make it a little bit of a challenge to pass, at least without using the bumper. It's going to be Dan Bouchard in the 037 out of Ottawa, Ontario, bringing the field to the green, with the 59 of Zachary Fitzwater Sr. starting to his outside. There's the green flag, and Bouchard is off and running. Fitzwater trying to hang on the outside. Fitzwater Sr. is currently 4th in points and is way in front of his championship contenders. He's trying to hang on there on the outside, but he may be challenged by Tristan Wilhoit in that 16 if he's not careful soon enough. Brian Hart, your race winner from last time out in Montreal, and the current championship leader, is starting near the back. He's there along with Tyler Barth, who's also in the top 5 in points. And alongside Brian Hart currently is Damir Bejyanov, returning to replace Spencer Fullerton for the rest of the season in that distinct purple machine that he's been in the series since 2013 with. That's Nicky Martinez in the number 97, currently sitting in 4th position behind Jacob Young. Jacob Young replaces Emmett Vanson in the number 72, and he comes with sponsorship in the form of that Canadian Tire scheme. Jacob Young having a great qualifying effort in his first run in quite a while, starting the race in the top 4 and currently sitting in 3rd place. Tight battle going on behind between Pericles Martinez and Zachary Fitzwater Sr. Further towards the back, we're 3 wide as Tristan Faulkner really throws it into turn number 1 there. Gets into the side of Ike Durbin and shoves Casey Lester up the track, but he's going to make some passes, but he's not making friends out there for sure, but I guess that's not what short track racing's about. Nick Pericles runs off the road trying to battle with Nicky Martinez, up onto the berm, back onto the circuit. Oh, Zachary Fitzwater Sr. is there, and we're 3 wide again. That's the 7 of Cassie Gertis. Fitzwater and Pericles trying to hang it on out there on the outside line. Very exciting racing at the start here. Cassie Gertis slides up the track. They're bumping and rubbing. Pericles almost off the track. Fitzwater Sr. throws it in, and Pericles off the road again. Fitzwater has had enough of him trying to hang out up there, and Pericles finds a spot in line. Finally back down to 2 wide racing, but a huge pack has formed now amongst that group, led by Yepes. Now on board Nick Pericles in the middle of that pack as he watches Sang and Fitzwater get into each other right in front of him. Sang gets loose down the track, and Lasavage back up. More contact made, and Pericles keeps his foot in it. Now going to get by Zachary Fitzwater Sr. and challenge Caitlin Sang. You really can't say enough about the confidence and courage of these guys as they race without hesitation. Patrick Smith, Small Nozomi, and Tyler Barth 3 wide further back in the pack as the 3 of them all get locked together. But they manage to sort themselves out just about. Faber and Nozomi still making contact there, but we hang on for now. Ike Durbin runs up the track and off the circuit all by himself. Gets up onto the berm, but keeps going and gets filtered back in towards the back. He's had a bit of a rough start to this race. Pericles runs off the circuit now, gets wild loose up there on the grass, but can't get back in. Fitzwater Sr. says, no you don't. Damir Bejyanov coming through now on the middle line. Tony Tabuleros hanging him out to dry as well, as this is going to be a huge loss of positions for the number 84. Oh, he tries to merge in, but gets into the 29 of JF Finguy. And the 29 goes spinning up the track in turns 1 and 2. That'll be our first caution. Let's take another look at this. So the 84 with just a little bit of a violent merge. He was a little bit slow. 29 to the side of him. I don't think he was expecting the 84 to be there. And 29 all sorts of out of shape and spins the car. Dan Bouchard leads him back to the green flag. JF Finguy right behind is not in second, but is rather a lap down following that spin. A devastating hit to his day, but that gives Dan Bouchard a nice buffer. Tristan Wilhoit is currently in second, but the battle for third is raging between Jacob Young, Ali Nelson, and Cassie Gertis. The 7 up the inside of the number 72, and the 96 is all over the back of that Pontiac. Taking a look 3 wide, little bit of contact made between the 7 and the 72 there, and the 96 takes advantage, swinging low and getting around both of them. It's a Discover Alaska second and third place as Jacob Young pushes up the track trying to get fourth back from the 7 of Cassie Gertis. Very exciting racing for third. William Brock and Caitlin Sang racing behind. Sang gets it in too deep, and they both go spinning off the road. They're stuck and beached on the banking out of turn number 4. A rough go for them. Both would stay in the race, albeit a few laps down. Dan Bouchard gets the restart once again. Tristan Wilhoit starts in second, but JF Finguy uses a slip-up from Tristan Wilhoit as he struggled to warm up his tires to get back by as he struggles to try and get a lap back once again. That's Al Lagasse in the number 32 up the inside. Jacob Young for third. Ali Nelson waiting in the wings as well, and Jacob Young goes off the track, runs it wide through 3 and 4. He'll come back in and around 8th position, and then it's now the 96 and the 32 going after it and trying to track down the number 16. Nelson has gotten by Lagasse and is now on the bumper of her teammate Tristan Wilhoit. Wilhoit's been in second since right at the start of the race, but Nelson trying to prove she has the stronger of the 2 cars today as they almost bump out of turn number 4, and Nelson snaps the position away. On board Jacob Young now as teammates Lasavage and Lucas Knight racing side by side. Lasavage trying to push it 3 wide with Fred Flintstone. Oh, contact between the teammates there. The Lucas Knight slides down to the bottom after contact with the 88 of Lasavage into the side of Fred Flintstone, but everyone keeps it green once again. Very impressive driving by these folks. And we're 3 wide further back as well. That's Fred Flintstone, Brian Hart, and Jacob Young going for position as Jacob Young gets shoved out of the right off the racetrack there, manages to get back in line a few car lengths back. It's Patrick Smith now racing for position with Brian Hart, but Pericles and Brian Hart get together. Smith up the track into the fence and over. The 04 car upside down into turn number 1. Let's take another look at how this happened. Now looking from the turn 1 camera as Brian Hart gets hooked into the 04 after contact with the 84, and around the 04 went up into the fence and over. Dan Bouchard leads him back to the green flag. He's led every lap so far today, and it started from the pole. It's been a dominant performance for him so far. You got a feel for JF Finguy right behind, though. He fell a lap down due to that spin, but he's maintained pace, which almost makes you think what could have been. Kyle Collins fell towards the back of the pack and was dealing with some stability issues. He's coming in for a tire change, but he'll fall a few laps down in the process. We're on board William Brock, who hasn't had the best start to the day. In front of him, Brian Hart and Casey Lester make contact. Hart gets loose, and they go up into the wall. It's deja vu of the last incident, I think. Let's take another look at this. Brian Hart gets loose off the corner, gets into Casey Lester, and Lester is upside down in turn number 1. 2 identical incidents, just a few laps apart, and 2 cars upside down in clouds of smoke. As they were coming to the yellow, Caitlin Sang with an issue. Maybe she picked up some debris at some part. She's also been in the fence earlier on in the day, so I guess not too big of a surprise. But she'll lose some more laps. Tristan Wilhoit jumps the start a bit there and passes Al Lagasse before they get to the green flag. Lagasse did lag a bit coming to the start, no pun intended, but Wilhoit is going to pay the price for that. His impatience is going to lead to him being a few laps down. Taking another look at Lagasse now as Sang tries to make up one of her many laps. I think he's just out here trying to have some fun. But Lagacy and Cassie Gertis going at it for position. Jeffrey Finguy is up into the top 7 or so. Now trying to make it 3 wide. Oh, he makes contact with the number 32. It was a gentle spin for Al Lagacy in front of the pack. Everyone manages to get it sorted out. Or do they? Oh, a few cars off the road there. Coming into turns 3 and 4. Coming in way too hot. We take the caution flag, but a little bit of chaos there. As Kyle Collins checked up. Oh, but not as nearly as much as Nicky Martinez. And Martinez, Zachary Fitzwater Sr. and Kyle Collins all off the road in 3 and 4. They all get back going. None of them got beached. Dan Bouchard gets the restart once again as Brian Hart is now the first car 1 lap down following his incident with Casey Lester a couple of cautions ago, as he and J.F. Finguy will both be looking to get their laps back. Caitlin Sang into the pits yet again. More issues with that 07 car, as she's almost surely going to finish be the last car on the lead lap. But Nicky Martinez also having issues, being all sorts of loose through turn 2. She fell to the back of the pack after starting up front, and she has to bring it into the pits with some sort of issue. William Brock runs off the road battling 3 wide for last place. He can't catch a break today and will be well off of the last few cars on the lead lap. Brian Hart, Ali Nelson and J.F. Finguy all racing side by side, not for position. Ali Nelson probably getting quite annoyed by the fact that her challenge to try and get Daniel Bouchard has just gotten a heck of a lot harder due to these two, as Brian Hart gets sent up the racetrack. Caitlin Sang was exiting the pits. Could you imagine if those two made contact coming out? But we end up okay. At lap 100, Jacob Young runs off the road as we do a field flyby. Still lots of action going on all over this racetrack as Dan Bouchard is on his way to start putting cars 1 lap down. 2 new drivers trying to get into the top 5 are Bridget Pitt and Max Anderson, currently battling for the 5th position. In front of them, it's Diego Yepes and Jeffrey Finguy racing for 3rd. Finguy having another good run after a strong run in Montreal where he was robbed in the final straightaway after a mistake, and Brian Hart took the victory in that one. Run on board Tristan Faulkner in the number 6. He's racing that green scheme today. As behind them, Damir Bejenoff, Al Lagacy, and Fred Flintstone make some contact racing together. Jacob Young is right in the thick of it as well, as these two, Jacob Young and Damir Bejenoff, having quite a crash course on their way back into the sport. Damir Bejenoff, a second ill-timed mistake in 2 corners, as he had a mid-qualifying run and has fallen all the way back to the tail end of the lead lap now. Speaking of being on the lead lap, J.F. Finguy is going to slip past Dan Bouchard, finally getting by the 037. Now he just needs to catch a caution in order to get back on the lead lap. Dan Bouchard really getting disrupted going through lap traffic. All the cars around him are 1 lap down. Wow, he and Zachary Fitzwater Sr. racing hard for that position. He's really pinched between a couple of cars. Fitzwater and Bouchard have had opposite trajectories. Bouchard has led since the green flag. Fitzwater started to his outside and has now fallen a lap down after another mistake and sliding up the racetrack. Ali Nelson up alongside the 48. Could she be the first driver to challenge the 037? Oh, but she really lags down on the bottom of the track. I'm not sure whether the engine might have sputtered there. She keeps going for now, but she's lost a great deal of time in many positions. None of them for position on track, but she's going to have to go through a lot of lap traffic to get back up to the 013. Now looking at Small Nozomi and Tony Tavularis, who have had pretty quiet days in the midfield, but Small Nozomi gets it in too hot, gets into the side of Tony Tavularis, who somehow keeps it going, and Nozomi goes for a spin, and the caution is going to come out. Nozomi gets back going without too much damage, and brings it down to the yellow flag. On the way back to the flag, JF Finn guy would slip up, and Dan Bouchard denies that the 29 a chance to get back on the lead lap. Wow, that was kind of bad manners, although I can understand the 037 being scared that the 29 might be able to race with the 037 if he can get back through the field. On the restart, the 037 got away well. He had several lap cars between him and the rest of the pack, but the 29 has gotten back by. 35 once again finds himself in a gaggle, and the 47 of Lucino Gallo and Brian Hart up the track after getting pinched together 3 wide, and Hart nearly sends another one over. He sent the other 2 cars upside down earlier in the race, and it's a close call. What an eventful race for our championship leader in the 35, but he gets away with it somehow once again as he'll continue on the racetrack. Oh, Kyle Collins with more issues with the 48. He comes into the pits yet again and will lose some more laps. But amazingly, it's JF Finn guy getting his way back onto the lead lap after driving away from Dan Bouchard. The only problem is it's only going to be 4 laps to go at the restart. Here we go. Can anyone get to Dan Bouchard and successfully pass him? No one's been able to touch him today. Ali Nelson got close, but hasn't been there yet. 3 laps to go. Max Anderson and the 96 battle for second position. Small Nozomi is 1 lap down. It's all coming up Dan Bouchard as we come to 2 laps to go. He's got a big gap back to second place as those 2 continue fighting for that spot. Small Nozomi getting in the action just to make it a little extra spicy. But up front, what can you say about Dan Bouchard's day? Truly a perfect weekend. Qualified first and has led every lap of the way en route to a rookie victory here at Speedway 660. He takes the win as behind them it's just narrowly Ali Nelson holding on to second. But what a win for Dan Bouchard. Congratulations to that Ottawa, Ontario team. It's a rarity to see someone lead flag to flag in HARC, and it shows a true mastery of the short track craft. Ali Nelson finishes second, 1.3 seconds behind. Then it's Max Anderson in third. Yepes with a great day in fourth. Faulkner climbed into the top 5. Finn guy with a solid sixth. Pericles had an up and down day but recovered to 7th. Knight finishes 8th, Bridget Pitt in 9th, and Fred Flintstone rounds out to the top 10. Despite falling a lap down today and being involved in just about every accident under the sun, Brian Hart maintains the points lead, a narrow points lead at that, over Damir Bejyanov, taking over from Spencer Fullerton, who's just 4 points back. Lucas Knight is now 3rd with Small Nozomi in 4th, Fitzwater 5th, Faber sitting close behind in 6th. Just 23 points separate those top 6 drivers. I think those will be your 6 to watch for the remainder of the season. Yepes is 7th, Anderson 8th, Nelson in 9th, and Bouchard currently sits 10th, climbing all the way up from 24th last round with that victory. Next time out, we head west to the half-mile Autodrome Granby in Quebec for the final dirt track race of the season. We'll see you there.